So good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday warm-ups again. And it's great to see you all. I made the safe trip back up the 5 from San Diego, and I'm back at home. For you guys, it doesn't look any different because I was here last week, so you know, I don't even know why you care, but that's okay. Anyway, great to see everybody. And this is going to be fun. So last week, Lila, do you have any housekeeping for us?
Sure, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Lila. I'm the program manager for Invested Musician. So nice to see all of you here. And thank you for joining us. For some of you, it's pretty early in the morning. I just wanted to let you guys know that right now, since we're doing our spring enrollment, we have a raffle that's coming up where if you submit an interest form, which is just, you're semi-interested in the program, you've seen what Andrew's done and you kind of like what he's done so far in terms of warm-ups, in terms of technique. We are going to be picking a few people to join us for a whole week of our program for free next week. You'll get to sit in on classes and shadow and see what the whole experience is about. So here is a link to our interest form, and if you are interested in submitting that and talking to us about the program, you will be entered in a chance to join us for a week. So thanks so much for being here, and I hope you'll consider.
Cool. Thank you, Lila. For those of you who are wondering, and I'm sure all of you are, the Mozart, if you didn't hear the Mozart that I played in San Diego last week, perfection, absolute perfection. You've never heard anything like it. And for those of you who did go to the concert, it's just between us, okay? Just anything that happens in San Diego stays in San Diego, right? Okay. But it's no, it was a lot of fun. It was fun to play again, and always fun to play a little bit of Mozart. The orchestra is amazing. So that was cool. But I realized, I don't know if anyone else has realized that my concentration span over the last 7 months has gone from that of a small animal to now that of a small insect. It is virtually non-existent. Like I can probably concentrate for about 5 seconds at this point. And that becomes really evident when you're standing on the front of a stage playing a concerto and you start thinking about, a million different other things. And you're like, I probably should be thinking about playing this concerto. But anyway, fun and games. So last week we did a lot of stuff on articulation. So this week, I thought what we would do is more focus on air and start moving the air focus into movement and just how we utilize the air to move through the horn in a really simple way. So this is basically building on the 3 components of sound production for me. So air, lips, and tongue. They're the 3 elements, and then we're going to expand that through movement and coordination. So we want to do this nice and gently and very simply. So we're going to start with an exercise that we affectionately know as the poo exercise. For those of you who haven't been here before, the idea is that we start with our lips together and we just blow through our lips and let the lips get blown apart, and then that will create the buzz. So if we try it without the horn, it sort of looks like this. Hence the poo. And you're just blowing your lips forward. So you take the mouthpiece. If you just blow, you should feel like it create a nice cushion. And then you can buzz. So lips staying together, blow them apart. Really, really simple. And then, so the exercise that we do is we start relatively soft and we start with short notes, and then we're going to play 8 repetitions of this, gradually getting louder, gradually getting longer for each one. And then the 9th repetition, we just add the tongue. So the tongue should be nice and forward, nice and relaxed, and that will just articulate for the 9th one. So if we just trade off against each other, that's probably the easiest way to do this. So we start on a concert B flat for all of those flute players out there. Terrific. How's that feel? So the idea of this is just really, really simple, and it's teaching our brain that we don't need the tongue to start notes or to create the sound. We're just getting the air to do that. Okay. Down a half step. Actually, Austin, just to correct you, we actually played the Mozart in F sharp major. We transposed it, and so at my request, we played it. It was actually, you know, the strings found it much easier to play in F sharp, and I thought, well, it's the least that I could do would be to play Mozart 3 in F sharp major. It made the cadenza a little tricky, but other than that, it was okay, pretty good, I thought. Down a half step. So the alternative to this one is, instead of breathing through your mouth, in order to help with you feel really compact at the start of the day, I do this one breathing through my nose as well. So I don't actually release the stability of my corners and my setup. So my setup stays in one place. Breathe through my nose and just blow. It'll feel initially as though you're not sure if anything's going to come out. That's totally fine, and something may not come out. It's okay. But just what happens after a few repetitions, your body will actually work it out, and then you'll feel much more focused, much more compact, and realize that you don't need to use your tongue. So terrific. Whoa. Okay. Hopefully that feels okay. So this is a good start for me. This is a good start to the embouchure, just to get things focused and to send message to my brain that I don't need my tongue to get things started. I'm focusing on the airstream to make everything work. Okay. So then, as we did last week, we'll do the repeated note pattern because it's a nice one to do. So now that we've got the tongue in the right spot and the airstream nice and forward, we can do repeated note pattern, which is basically maintaining the same airstream and then a variety of cuts of that airstream. So we'll just go backwards and forwards with this one. So we start with a half note. Terrific. Eric, that's a good question. It varies. Do I typically start my warm-up on the B flat side of the horn? It varies. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I don't have a huge stress one way or another. I do think F horn is really useful for a lot of things. But for me, I just want both sides of the horn to try and match as much as possible, get as so that the sound is the same. That's the goal. Caruso influence, actually the breathing through the nose thing is actually from my teacher Will Sanders from about 20 years ago. But I don't know, he might have got that from Caruso. The thing to remember with all of these exercises and all of the stuff that we talk about is none of it is original. Sadly, as much as I'd like to claim that, you know, I've created all of this stuff, I'm just a really good thief. I mean, maybe I'm not even a really good thief. I'm just a thief. Just stealing. I mean, I think the best, you know, what do they say? The nicest form of flattery is what is it? I don't know. Whatever it is. I sound like George W. Bush. But you know, copying something is you know is always a good thing. I think I've invented, I think, one, as we were talking in the master class. There we go. Imitation is a serious form of flattery. Thank you, Christine. Whew. Thank goodness. Yes. Yeah, you fool me once. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway. What is your Halloween costume this year? That is the question. Or what is your most memorable Halloween costume? There you go. In Australia, we grew up, we didn't really have Halloween. Halloween's not a real thing in Australia. We're just generally scared people down there. So it just scares the daylights out of us to have people running around in masks. So, or, you know, looking like a ghost. And also, we don't eat as much candy as you guys. That's the deal. All right, so moving on to a little bit of movement now. So we're going to start very, very simple exercise, starting on a middle C, so a concert F. Just using the air, feeling the air to bend each note as we go. So we want to feel as though we have this glissando effect, and the exercise is really simple, just nice and soft. So that you feel the air speeding up as you go higher and opening as you're going on the descending one. Really nice and simple, just making sure that we're being in contact with the airstream. Scott, nice to see you. Thanks for coming back after the trauma of last week. I mean, it wasn't traumatic for us. It might have been traumatic for you, but great to see you. Kylie White and Madeline, hi, and Yolanda, hi, from our summer program. Nice to see you guys. Terrific. All right, so the next one I wanted to do is a stamp one along the similar lines. So again, we're just focusing on this movement, trying to make as gooey connection between the notes as possible and making the air do the work. So So that one, I'm deliberately trying to hit notes in between to make sure that I'm feeling as though I'm making this connection in between the notes. I'm not trying to move in steps. I'm trying to move as if I'm on a roller coaster. Or maybe the concept of being on an escalator instead of walking up a set of stairs. So that I'm making this connection with the airstream. I can iron that out later on, but I'm focusing on making sure that that's my connection. And obviously that one can go as low as you like. And what I like to do with that one is to add articulation, so soft articulation into that, just to get my tongue coordinating with the airstream. All right, so because we're talking about air, I want to go back to the huffing exercise. Who's familiar with the huffing exercise? Anyone? Oh, that's good. Lots of hands. Terrific. Okay, so huffing, what we want to be doing, we take the mouthpiece. Or if you're on the flute, you can just, I don't know. Oh, maybe you can take the head joint off and you can blow it through the flute. Oh, no, it's, I don't know. You guys, yeah, you can actually. You can blow it through because it's just a big tube. But what we're going to do is we're focusing on engaging the airstream. So just below, or basically at the bottom of your ribs, this is what we want this engaged. And just underneath that, we're going to have a little bit of flexibility, just a bit of a bounce. So just to feel that feeling. What we want to do is make sure that that area is flexible. So for me, this is where all of my articulation is coming from. All of my accents, all of my staccati, all of my sforzandos. Whenever I have to be flexible through the range, this area I want to be flexible. I want to have the top layer, so about there's about 4 inches above my belly button. I want that engaged continually, like we're squeezing an orange or compressing the bellows. And then underneath there, I have this little bit of flexibility. And then from there, I can coordinate that flexibility with my tongue so that I'm moving the emphasis of where the workload is happening here, not here. And this is, for me, is a really important thing. It gives me much more endurance and control, makes life a lot easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on a concert B flat, and we're going to just try some huffing. So random intervals in your own time. And the feeling, hopefully, is that you're blowing the mouthpiece away from you when you're doing the huffing. But it's as sharp a movement as possible. The thought that I have in my head is it's like a heart rate monitor. That's the action. So we have the constant flat line and then the beat on top of that. And this should feel for your setup as though all that's happening is you're just blowing the air out and it's very relaxed. We don't want to hold anything in our setup. For flute, this should just, I don't know, actually I've never done this with flute, Francis, so this would be interesting to find out what it feels like.
It's fine. Thank you for allowing me.
Oh, anytime. It's great. I mean, this is terrific. We have a lot of tubas today, so this will definitely work for the tuba and euphonium and trumpet. And it should work for flute. It should be very help you to stay engaged but flexible. I think this is an important thing with our airstream, is that we're not locked we're not stuck in our air. That we've got flexibility of our airstream. We can increase the speed. We can increase the volume. And this is going to give us more options in our production. So now we're going to actually do a rhythmic exercise with this. So we're going to stay on where we are. So it's a concert F now, and we're just going to play this pattern. Good luck. But this is all with your tummy and staying engaged with the airstream all the way through. So. Michael, that's a really good question. And yes, the tummy is the answer there. As it gets, if it gets any faster than this, your throat will actually come a little bit, be a little bit of a glottis thing in the back of your throat. But ideally, we want to be focusing on engaging with your tummy to keep that flexibility. So, all right, now we add movement to this. So we're going to do the arpeggio exercise. So we're going to play one arpeggio descending and then ascending with as legato as possible. And then we're going to maintain that legato, but we're going to add the kick from underneath for each of the notes. So starting on, what are we starting? Oh, we start on a concert B flat. So just with the air string. It's one of the distinct advantages of playing concertos in E flat major is that you don't really need the third valve very much. So fortunately, my third valve doesn't work very well, so I don't have to worry about that most of the time. Except, of course, when I'm playing in F sharp, Austin, and of course, which I did, without doubt. Yeah, everyone knows that. Bob McClure, it's nice to see that you have internet and that you're no longer in the witness protection program. That's good.
Well, wait till the sun goes down. It'll be the same eerie sight.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Bob literally looked like a shadow last night when we had our technique class in the fall course, and it was a little scary.
I received several notices that I look much better that way, so I'm going to try and make it permanent.
Brilliant. And of course, everyone is thrilled that the Dodgers were able to recover from the absolute disaster that was Saturday night and take a 3-2 lead. Sorry for all of you Tampa Bay fans out there, but that's okay. You'll survive. You'll have your turn one day. All right. So now, just thinking about this flexibility, we're just going to play a really, really simple 5-note scale pattern. And then we're going to use this flexibility to coordinate now with our fingers a little bit more. So that we play it twice as legato as possible, and then twice with the flexibility from your tummy. So if you were to be sitting on a yoga ball or a Pilates ball, you should be able to feel as though you're sort of like bouncing a little bit in this. If you weren't, go and get one. No, just use that imagination. And so now we're going to do the next iteration of this is now to add the articulation. So we maintain the layers that we have, and we just add the tongue to this. So this one's for you, Austin. I'll be here all week. Try the steak. Okay. So we can apply this principle to pretty much any exercise that you have, just to check in that you've got flexibility with your engagement. So that again, the line of engagement is if you're continually squeezing an orange or compressing a bellows, or the other idea is like the accordion, that you're moving an accordion. It's constantly moving, constantly active, constantly engaged. And then underneath that is this flexibility. Obviously, if you're playing very fast passages, it's more like a butterfly wing effect than a big interruption, or not an interruption, but a big movement. And then if we have accents or big sforzandi, then it's actually more of an engagement, more of a flexibility, more of a kick. But my thinking is that this is where my articulation is being instigated, not in my face. So I don't want to get this sound. Right? That's not the sound that I want, because while it sounds very clear to me and to you guys a foot from the microphone, Well, what happens in the audience is it doesn't really carry, and it doesn't have a lot of core of sound. It has a lot of front, and it has a lot of, it does have the pitch, but there's not a lot of overtones, and there's not going to be a lot of projection. So the idea is, in going back to the poo exercise, what we're thinking about is getting the air to the core of the sound as quickly as possible. And the faster we get to the core of the sound, the more that we're going to get quality of sound and the better the projection. And that's what's going to create clarity, if that makes sense. Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, it's fine. You can, I'll just keep talking about it, and then eventually it'll make sense, right? Something like that. Okay, so now moving on to movement, more movement. So we're going to do more flexibility. So the idea with flexibility is that we make sure that we maintain our corners very, very stable and forwards, and that we're keeping the air very, very strong, creating the I'm thinking of it with flexibility as sort of almost oscillating around a midpoint. So very, very connected airstream. Bless you, Austin. I have to say, you guys are dropping the ball with the Halloween costume thing. Either that, or we're going to have to have a serious talk to Tanner about his selection of questions. But please put in the chat your favorite Halloween costume, or candy, actually. Maybe that's even a good one. Candy is such a word that it took me about, 8 years of living here to learn. In Australia, it's lollies or sweets. Darth Vader, yeah. I was once Goose, I think. Goose from Top Gun. That was pretty good. Yeah. It was difficult to walk around at night with dark glasses, though. It looked cool, but I kept crashing into things, so it was a bit challenging. All right. So this one, we're basically speeding up the arpeggio one in terms of flexibility. So I'm really focusing on moving the airstream as I go higher and making sure that I keep connected on the way down. What I tend to do, and a lot of, you hear this in a lot of horn players, we will engage our air as we go up, and then we sort of like free fall on the way down. So we end up with, and we sort of let things go on the way down. The important thing is to really make sure that the air is doing the work on the way down, and keep supporting, keep opening up as you descend. So that we keep this engagement, keep this control. So hopefully what you feel is that this is actually easier on your face when you focus on your airstream than trying to get around your flexibility with your chops. I mean, this also, I would imagine, for flute makes a difference too, like really focusing on how you're moving your air through registers rather than, you know, your face. Would that be fair to say, flute gurus? Yeah. Okay, good. I'm becoming a flute teacher.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay. Oh, Francis, yeah. Well, do you have anything to add? Uh-oh.
Oh, nothing to add except, yeah, it's you sound like you were saying, the sound is much fuller when you use your abdominal muscles, but I think that for flute, you know, we're so finger oriented sort of, it's really good to just do this, like, because I used to do it a lot more, and I think now I'm a lot more stressed that I don't do it as much, like the breath attacks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Right. So
I don't know that.
I look forward to coming into flute technique. No, I will not be taking flute technique class in our 4 course. We'll leave that up to Dennis. All right. So yeah, so the next one I wanted to move on to is extending this flexibility, but now we're going to add some articulation, both from your tummy and from your tongue. So we know this exercise from previous sessions. So where normally we just do smooth and then articulated, what we're going to put in the middle for today is this flexibility bouncing. So smooth, then with huffing, but still connected, and then add the tongue to that setup. Okay. And if you need to breathe extra, breathe extra. That's what's important, is that we're using the air, we're engaging in the air. Breathing is not really a problem. Just take your time, take a good breath, and then keep going. Thank you, Ellie, for answering that question. Yeah, Lauren, in the actually, I think I am community page. So if everyone joins, if you're not yet a member, join the I am community page. In the files tab of that page is where you will find written out versions of this. If there's anything that we do that you don't see a written out version for, let us know. Send me an email, andrew@investedmusician.com, or put a note in the community page, and we will sort that out for you. No problem at all. Again, to reiterate what Lila said at the beginning, anyone who's interested in our programs, please check out the website, www.investedmusician.com. We are currently open for the spring enrollment for people that are interested in working with us. There's a lot of people in this meeting now that are involved or have been involved in that program. So feel free to reach out to them and ask them any questions. They're all wonderful people, except for Bob. But you know, that's okay. He's a Dodgers fan, so it's fine. And I'm sure they'll be very happy to give you a rundown of what we cover. And then, as Lila said, please feel free to sign up to have a chat with us if you're interested, and you'll go into the draw to come and join us next week for a week of classes. Next week, actually, on Saturday, Dinka Vlakovic will be continuing her mental training course. We have a bunch of performance class. That's true, Bob, yes. And technique classes, and this is for all instruments actually. So if you've got friends who would be interested, we have 6 principals of the LA Phil who are on our faculty, and of course the business classes, we're getting to an interesting stage with business classes where we're really getting into some serious product development and helping people deliver their business ideas into the market. So a lot of fun stuff. So now to the dangerous part of the morning where we go into scales. This is always very nerve-wracking for me, but we do repeated note scales, and just keep in mind now that we've got this connection between articulation and our tummy, we keep that going through this exercise. So as flexibly as possible. So really feel that this is flexible just above your belly button. It's not stuck. Above that, so 4 inches above your belly button is continually active and squeezing consistently. But then just below there is this little point of flexibility and bounce. And again, don't trust what I'm telling you. Please don't trust what I'm telling you. Experiment with it in your practice and see what you can learn from that. See if it helps. The good thing is, if it helps, it's helped. If it doesn't help, then you know that, okay, well, that's not going to necessarily help me, and so I can move on to something else. But it's really important with all of the ideas that we're faced with, is that we experiment with them. Don't take anything on face value, even if Sarah Willis tells you. Actually, no, you can. Sarah Willis' stuff's pretty good, so it's all right. Okay, and this is for Austin Larson. Just to tell you, I was so focused on my Airstream that I forgot that I was playing F sharp major. Yeah, unbelievable. How was it? Tremendous. See? I mean, it's staggering what I can do sometimes. I can play a scale. Unbelievable. All right. So we're going to do a loud one. Why not, right? So this is another stamp one. So the focus, before you get started, sorry, I should have said this before I started. So through the octave, really maintain good stability in your corners and keep everything nice and forward, and really give a bunch of air through that octave jump. So make the width of the Airstream the thing that's helping you get down. Don't just let everything go floppy and fall down an octave. Otherwise it'll sound like this. Anyone experienced that before? Yeah. So if we deliver the air, the note is just gonna arrive to that point very stably. Okay, your turn. All right. And then one more scale pattern, just to, before Anne-Marie gets to really get stuck into it. So this is our regular scale pattern. And again, focusing on the flexibility and the connection of the Airstream. So we want to make sure we're speeding up the Airstream as we're going higher and filling it out as we're going lower. So. And so keep thinking as you're playing this one, we engage with the airstream, we're speeding up as we're going higher, we're opening up as we're going lower, and we keep this sort of butterfly effect underneath the engagement to keep flexible so that the articulation is actually coming from here, and then the tongue is just coordinating with that. It's going to take a huge amount of work away from your face. Okay, terrific. Well, thank you, everybody. We're not at the end yet. We're getting close. And we have to finish with one last one. And I'm really interested to see how this is going to work on a flute. But Anne-Marie Cherry is with us.
Hello.
Horn player extraordinaire. And she is going to give us the elephant.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Here we go. Whoopsies. Your turn. My apologies. And then
I just wanted to reiterate one thing. That's terrific, Anne-Marie. Sounds awesome. So we want, again, we're combining the flexibility. So as we're going into this upper register, we want to really activate with our tummy this airspeed. So it's a big kick to the top note. So is the feeling, and then we support it on the way down, just so that everyone is aware of that. We'll keep going because this is great. All yours.
oh, good. All right, so open. And I guess thumb 2, 3 maybe is the last one. Who knows? Oh, sorry.
So just so that everyone is aware, Anne-Marie, tell us where you are currently teaching.
Columbus State University in Columbus, Georgia.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And so check. Anne-Marie has some fantastic clips and stuff on Facebook and YouTube. Sounds really terrific. And so I encourage everyone to sort of check that out. And Columbus State, is that right? Columbus State, fantastic. So check Columbus State out, because there's going to be some pretty cool things coming out of there for sure in the future. But thank you for being a great sport. Can you come back next week and give us a special warm-up exercise?
Sure, that'd be, yeah, absolutely.
Terrific. Awesome. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. Great to see you all. Please check out investedmusician.com. Join the IAM community for all the warm-up exercises and videos. There was a fantastic discussion on Saturday with the panel about their individual careers of some amazing women in the industry. Very, very inspiring chat, and I encourage you to check that out on the Invested Musician community when that comes up. Any questions that you have, let us know, and look forward to seeing you, if not before, next Monday. Thanks. Ciao.